didn't fart. He's done that in here too. He's done that in here too. I don't think that's them points, Mary. I think that's the Renegade Reserves. That's not what you're gambling with. The gambling's a whole different kind of points. No, Graham. Gibbs isn't cooking nothing. Yeah, see, Mary, them points are totally different. Frank, the best thing you can do is hit gamble 100, and then you'll know how many points you got, and how many you gambled, and how many you have. Two scores and then belches. That could be my uncle, eventually. Trust me, he's not your uncle. Hey,
see, we got weed, fertilizer.
This is the green farm. What are you doing? Till fall tillage is done, Mary. Go down to the field. I'm in here. The field dad's in there, and then I do want to get the field beside me hit with the accelerator. So I mean, it ain't like it's gonna be forever. Now we got purple lights. Yeah, well, it's not red. You see that? Now we're green. Yeah. Look at that. Aaron's showing y'all how to gamble. This is a good song too.
Let's go get us a little profit.
Outlaw question if you didn't do your that's why I said you got to gamble at least 100. It takes 100 to gamble. Cheapskate, you can't gamble 5.
Let's see what we got.
My
We
God,
have
was tight.
soybean. No. What is this? Sunflowers? Central Grain Elevator. Or the port. Ooh. The ranch. Let's load up with that.
Pretty sure you have to have a space between gamble and the word all. And remember, guys, there is a slight delay on it because it got to where there was so much gambling I couldn't keep up with chat. All it was gamble, 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 gamble. That's what poor Whirlwind's trying to gamble 44%. It won't let him because he keeps entering right after someone else gambling. Oh, Mr. Red. I don't know, chat. Should we feel sorry to give Mr. Red some points back?
See if I can make it up these hills with this truck.
What is the one we used to do for car stereo?
Here we go. Off to the ranch. Over 2,000. Whoa.
Hopefully I can find it right as this and then we'll just go right into it and then miss a beat.
Taking the back roads.
Car stereo time, guys. Give me $5. Frank says no. I feel sorry for him. Frank, just for that, I'm giving Mr. Red points back.
There we go.
B-Mac showing you how to do it. This was the car stereo. This was the USAC for sound pressure level. This was the song. And you let the volume turn down. And when it hits, when the right time hits, you just crank it. I actually had my stereo muted, and right hair. And hair standing straight up on my arms because it takes me back to that, sitting in that car just feeling it through your body. Oh my God. I had one of them cars that you wore headphones in. Well, not headphones, but ear protection. And you felt it. You felt internal organs moving.
16,500.
God, that was a good time. It's weird here, me, all like me, just loving this song. I miss the duels. You know what? I'm gonna be honest, Brady. When I put it up for a vote that night, I figured that people would vote 90% hate the duels, and people voted 90% with the real good. And I do think you want to know what I miss with the duels, honestly. Whirlwind and I had a special thing with duels, and we used to have a blast with it, and I love that. You know, who was going to win tonight? That's what I miss about the duels. Hit 132, put 6, with 2 pounds. Columbus Car Audio, the last time I was there was close to that time frame, Graham. And when I was down there, I had 6 10-inch Mictec Blue Thunders in the back of a Red Bean 6 IROC, and I hit 149.9. I had my shit together. I hit 149.9 twice. I hit it with 4 12s, and I hit it with 6 10s. I'm not going to do it tonight, Frank, but we may do something special. We may do something special. You know, here's the thing: if we do a poll to bring rules back, and it gets voted down again, I mean, what do you do? What if instead of doing a poll, what if I decided that once a month we're going to turn rules back on and we'll allow rules that way? Okay, so guys, how about this? How about this? Tomorrow, we're going to do a 12-hour stream, and rules will be active for the 12-hour stream. Nope, I never. Now, what I did do, Aaron, I had to replace the seal in the T-tops 3 times. I replaced the seal in the back glass once. That was expensive. That was expensive. Chat, what's anyone else think of that? What do we think about bringing duels back for tomorrow? Well, just for tomorrow, just to see how it goes. And I do ask, you know, if we bring it back, don't come in and duel 87 people, you know. And Cowboy Mike's, I want to be honest, my vote yes. My vote is yes. But I want to know what everyone else thinks. We could put a cool down on it. I wish I had a way to put it in there where everybody had the opportunity to duel 2 times in a stream. If I could do that, I think it would be something that would be very manageable. But, you know,
Is it canola?
I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, canola.
I think we're going to do that, guys. We'll bring the duels back for tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. And Mary, if that does happen,
Canola to the ranch.
B-Mac, I'm going to have to get a hold of CX to see where it's at. I would like to have them back for, you know, winter. We'll put some sort of something on it. And so that hopefully they can't be abused and it's not something that's coming back permanently. We'll just do it from time to time. Something easy like that. That's my thought.
Is it worth taking it to the ranch?
Aaron, I had with my Trans Am, I had 4 Crunch 12s, and I had Luger
Restaurant, maybe.
And with the doors closed and T-tops and everything in, the Lugers would bounce off the back window. It was amazing. I don't know how to do that very
Let's just take it to the restaurant.
Between now and tomorrow. Rabbit Man, how are you doing? Yep, you took yours off. Welcome in, Cardinal. Hey there, Coffee. Oh my God. What in the hell? What did you do that for? Well, get it. Get it. You brought a big damn plastic heavy toy and dropped it on my damn foot. Kids, hey. I got a tree here. If I hit this tree, Mary will yell at me. Over here. Over here. What was that thing jumping right on my damn foot? I have 2 pins to put my food on those. I have not installed a stereo in years. I really haven't. The loudest one I ever did is when I went to my tech school in Freeport, Illinois, and I was on a team with ADOS that did the majority of the Terminator band. I mean, it was loud. It was loud. Is it 16 15s or 16 12s? It's been a few years.
Well, I'm just speeding a little bit.
I had a Beretta, my own personal car, a Beretta that I did. Beretta Z24 black. I still got some pictures here somewhere. But I had Crunch DC Series 12s. Had the real big heavy duty basket. And I took the spare tire out of the trunk and actually made a fiberglass enclosure that went in there. And then I put a board across the whole trunk floor, but I had to raise it some so that in that enclosure I had enough airspace for them 2 DC-12s. And then I mounted them DC-12s upside down and then wired them backwards. So they were normal, but you actually could see the enclosure, or see the basket of that DC-12. And I powered him. I had the big Crunch had some amps out. They had various amps out. When you go back to their old school, their high current stuff, God, I wish I could remember the model number of them. But it was like 5,000 watts RMS into that 2 cells. 2,500 watts RMS. None of this RMS power going into them 212s. That car hit like no other. I ran 0 gauge wire from the battery to the back, and I had 2 0 gauge. Because I also had
Okay, the first one should be this one, majority. Let's set up.
I did my son's Grand Am. It had two audio pipe iCandy 12s, and I'll be honest, them are good subs. He had a white Grand Am GT, and I went with the white 12-inch iCandies, and white in color matched the car. And that box, I've still got that box with them subs in the garage. That box is 1.5 inches MDF. And oh my God, it was loud. I had high current type amp on them too. Kind of read it wasn't the proudest moment. I didn't mind mine, McCracken. I haven't read it, but it's not a vehicle. I don't have one of them Berettas. I got a lot of other ones, but not a Beretta. Put the subs in the Magnum. I don't think that's going to happen in the Kraken. Austin's car was nice because you could pull down the rear seats and the amp tray was right there. It had custom fans running air across it to keep the amps cool and everything.
Ever get some?
I mean, it was a really nice setup. And man, was it loud. Man, was it loud. I beat Dad done, so I'm going to come up here and give him a hand real quick. Gotta love him. Gotta love him, man. Made a couple of people really. In college, our stereo in the dorm, I had I ran a car stereo store right out of my dorm. I mean, we did a lot of box building and that right in the dining room. But I had a couple of big inverters that I could go ahead and get my turn 110 into 12 volt, and I had amps and speakers hooked up to that stuff all the time. I actually ran a car stereo as my kind of like head unit for the thing.
Yeah, 18 and 22 that need harvested.
My Beretta went boom, boom, boom. Yours goes bang, bang, bang. JL Audio there for a while had a really good setup where the ohms on their subs, you ran 312s and it would give you a 1 ohm load. You got a high current amp, you put a 1 ohm load on it, and it was really nice. I missed some stuff right there. I'm not going to allow that. It was a nice setup. my Harley, the amp in it, it's a not a sound storm. It is a sound stream. Sound storm is jump. Sound stream is high.
Well, the cement factory.
And I've got a sound stream 4x50, and it is running. No, it's a 4x100, and it's running 4 Boston Acoustic 6.5 Marine speakers, and it is something else. One I can, Fozzie, not as much as I'd like to. My health just does not allow it like I'd like it to. I'm going to leave it at that. Alpines was a pretty good brand back in the day, but I don't think they're as high quality as what they was back then. Soundstream was a nice amp. You get one of them old blue ones, it was the high current amps. Yeah, them are nice amps. I competed against many of Soundstreams in my days of competition. There was a jackhammer. I don't know how long it was produced. It was supposed to be Mytek's answer to the Cerwin-Vega Stroker, I believe, is what they called theirs. Had a dual voice coil, and I don't mean dual voice coil, but it had dual spiders. So you had a spider above and below the cone. And I'm gonna be honest, that Cerwin-Vega Stroker, yeah, that's the real deal. Clarion had a good head unit too. I'll give you that one, Klein, 100%. But yeah, that Cerwin-Vega, a Cerwin-Vega 18 stroker was unreal. I remember seeing a test done on a Cerwin-Vega stroker 18, and they handed it, I think it was 15,000 watts, but it was clean. It was clean, no distortion, no nothing like that, and it didn't blow. Did not blow. Kenwood Pioneer Premier wasn't bad, but like Kenwood, not in the same standard of what we're dealing with. Back in the day, Frank, I had an old 921 and 1021 amp that I was trying to compete with from the very beginning, and they didn't hold a candle to what I ended up with.
Yeah.
Oh, McCracken, it was crazy. No, mine's going to be a trike, Ozzy. Mine's going to be a trike. I remember going to a show in Monroe, Michigan, and I don't remember the name of the place, but while we was up there, I watched a guy, Dr. Frankenstein, out of the Akron area, had 615s in his vehicle, and I watched his windshield crack. The only time I ever cracked a windshield, my Trans Am, I split the windshield out a bit with the Ford fronts closed. We were at, I had a buddy that was selling for me. What are you doing here, Dad? What are you doing here, buddy? Dad, hello? Dad, we're not playing chicken with the tractors. We are not playing chicken with the tractors, Dad. Dad. He ain't listening. Jesus Christ. He was not listening, was he? Oh, Lord. No offense, Mr. Red. Profiles weren't good amps. Well, I take that back. Profile had a line of amps that Precision Power made for them that was called the Arc Series. You could get, man, if you could get your hands on one of them, man, you're talking that
There we go, potatoes.
A high dollar amp. You could get it for next to nothing. Did I drive a Thunderbird? I had a Thunderbird at one time, yes. I had a 77 Thunderbird, but I never did any competing with it when I was in high school. Yeah, Profile is Legacy, which is the high-end brand of Pyramid.
Ooh, that was impressive.
And what a lot of people don't understand, Pyramid is actually a company named SoundAround out of Brooklyn, New York. And SoundAround as a company has some high dollar stuff there. They own Lanzar, they own Crunch, they bought quite a few good companies, and they just run the wiring stuff for it. This make me want to go wire my stuff up. the power that I did. And he only beat me by like a point and a half. at
4
Columbus,
big
Colorado,
bags.
with twice the power. Well, hell, his sound pressure level should have smoked. Yeah, I don't care for Fosgate at all.
Fertilizer.
Gotta cheat like that to win. David Quisenberry got challenged at the next show he went to, and I think it was in Pittsburgh. And they pulled how many volts he had going to the back of the car, and he had a lot more volts than what a Punch 50 would pull. A lot more. And they started doing some investigating, so they checked the voltage at the amplifier, and what it was pulling was twice as much. And they actually pulled the amplifier out of the car, pulled it out of the car, and they tested it. Tried it with a 30 I just want to finish my activity. And get these up here and swing and return. And then the field right there behind is corn stalks, and I have the accelerator. That's all I'm doing, bitch. Nothing more than that. That's what everybody was running. I just couldn't compete with that. That's a head unit. Yeah, Mary, I've actually got a Kenwood in the Magnum. And, I got it for a good price. I'm still in with a few of my wholesalers. So I got it for a good price from a wholesaler. And we're all in, but it gives me Bluetooth. So my phone hooks right up to it. So if I get a phone call from my mom while I'm working on the tractor, I don't have to do anything crazy.
There we go.
and she's just hanging out with the ladies. Vic, that's a fact. That's a fact. This field here, when I did some adjusting and kind of cleaned it up some, and there was a tree out there in the center. Now there were other trees that led up to it, and I took all the other trees up, but I left that one in the center. And I just think it sets this field up. I got one at Dad's house, the same exact way.
Man.
It is, man. It's a ladies' night in the living room. Yeah, when I got to this field, I told Troke I was only going to put the end rows on the front and I was done because I knew for a fact that if I come back here and got the end rows on the back, well, I was going to finish. I was going to finish. I knew I was. I do too. Hangry.
In third stage right now. Really wish this stuff would grow. Really wish this stuff would grow. Maybe I should get some potatoes going. 23 is. Maybe I should get some potatoes going. Where's that? 23 is. 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 23 22 and 18, ready to harvest. Let's go to 22. Okay, let's get on over here to this field over here, and we'll harvest it for. Field 22. This one. Right here. Stay on the line. Ah. Get all the edges done. Yeah, I just saw your chat. I have to check you out. I'll look you up. Now this works like real farming. I should be able to rotate crops. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it works. Where in the heck am I supposed to take this? Port grain elevator. Where in the heck am I supposed to take this? Port grain elevator. There it is. Way over there. Ah. Well, that was kind of screwed up. And this is why you don't speed. Unless you find a straightaway like this. Unless you find a straightaway like this. What's that? Well, apparently you can't break through those. Well, apparently you can't break through those. Okay. I remember back in the day having to do this shit for real. It sucked. Freaking 15 years old. Okay, here we go. Get back to the elevator. Right here. Starting to get dark. Let's see if I get paid. There it is. Contract on 22 finished. Now let's get everything back to the farm. Fly through town at 50 miles an hour. barley growing. We're almost done. We already planted that? What, 21? 22 harvested. 18 harvested. 14 and 15 is harvested. That header needs to be repaired. Let's go to bed. Sleep for 8 hours. A.m. Well, shit. Still growing. It's dark green. Soybeans to the restaurant. $16K. Field 11. That's a big field. I think I'm gonna turn in for the night. So, if there's anyone watching, I guess I'll see you later.